Shea Jackson, and I'm a managing partner at Williams Group.
And I am Meghan Chea, and I'm also a managing partner at Williams Group.
What sustainable development goals are you currently working on at Williams Group?
We laughed a little when we saw this question because honestly, we work across nearly all of them, which sounds like a flex. But as a strategic communications firm, our clients' work is our work, and our clients work in all sorts of industries. So we really help organizations spanning the full SDG spectrum. So that might be education nonprofit, it might be automotive industry leader, and we help them clarify their story, engage their stakeholders, amplify their impact. And because, of course, the goals are so interrelated and you can't really address one in a vacuum, our work often happens at the intersection of multiple goals. So you can imagine, without my really unpacking it, education and economic growth, very intertwined. Industry, innovation, and responsible consumption, super interrelated. And so most projects that we support on behalf of our clients are really touching multiple goals at the same time, even within the same industry. And it's not uncommon for our work to touch multiple industries at once because we often serve multi-sector partnerships, trying to solve really hairy, gnarly, complex problems of our time. And so in practice, what that means is us translating multi-goal work into narratives, collateral, and messengers that resonate with a broad range of stakeholder groups. So maybe that's policymakers, maybe it's consumers, maybe it's community members of all stripes. And while we firmly believe that a company of 25 people can make a big impact on its own, our contributions to the SDGs are really helping people doing the work be seen, understood, and supported at scale. So in that way, we like to think of ourselves as impact multipliers, as amplifiers, and as levers for the work writ large.
That's incredible. I agree with you where a lot of the goals, they do intersect in that way. And it's great that you are at the pillar of that, where you can then really help others to really make a positive impact on their own working methods within their own organization, so that way they can align with the sustainable development goals that were set in place by the United Nations. Why does working at a B Corp matter to you?
I'll jump in. And for me, it just reflects a choice. It's an intentional kind of public decision about how we show up in the world. And, business doesn't have to be something that we just participate in or benefit from. And being a B Corp really shows that we're not just here to operate within a system as it exists already. We're actually here to shape it or influence it for the better. And I think it keeps us honest and it keeps us accountable to things that really matter to us. And it reminds us that profitability and purpose shouldn't be competing forces. In fact, they should be reinforcing each other. And that's important.
I agree with you. I feel that when you have the B tied to your name, that force of accountability definitely is present, right? But it's really in a good way, because whenever I've talked to other B Corp members as well, they've mentioned we've already been doing this before. We've already had the groundwork laid in front of us as to how we want to positively impact the environment and communities we're working in. But now we actually just need the map to follow, right? To ensure that we're hitting those goals, as well as staying, like you said, accountable to the overall mission and drive that's involved with just the B Corp community itself. I always say that when there's a community, there's power in numbers, and it's really important to us that as we continue to build the community within the B local area, which is our Good for Michigan program here, that we want to have voices who are purpose-driven, as well as those who have a desire to really change the game for how businesses should operate, right? We want to operate as a force for good, but also where we start to put people over profit, right? Like, we do want them to work in tandem. That would be great. But a lot of times, there have been other organizations or companies that haven't been able to meet that. What makes us different is that we do our best to ensure that we place profit at the bottom, but instead we put people first. Thank you so much for that response, Chea. I appreciate that. Megan, did you want to add anything? Or are we ready to jump to the next question?
I would love to answer that question too.
Yeah.
I remember when the Millennium Development Goals first came out, those were the precursors to the SDGs, the MDGs. And I was working for an international organization doing a lot of overseas development work. And so it was core to the work that we were doing. And seeing really clear time-bound goals to apply to really complex global challenges, honestly, rocked my world a little bit. It totally reshaped my understanding of systems change. It made it feel possible and attainable for the first time ever. And, I was 21, so every new thought rocked my world. But still, things that felt impossible suddenly felt achievable. And I was just really inspired by that. And especially, the idea of collective impact, of everyone pulling together, rowing together, really made me feel like my actions could make a difference. And there's this really great quote that is attributed to Mother Teresa, I think, and it's do small things with great love. And to me, becoming a B Corp is a way of living into that every day, of connecting individual and organizational choices to a larger shared effort for good. And it's a way of conveying to our community, both internally and externally, that we take responsibility for our corner of the world, which is exactly what you were just describing. The fact that if we sweep our street, like, our whole neighborhood is better, and it really does make a difference.
I agree with you. That's why it's amazing to be involved and just meet these incredible individuals that are just involved in the B local community itself. It makes you also feel validated knowing that there are other people who want to work in tandem with you to build a world that really is set on the values of promoting the UN goals, but also too, the one that really prioritizes the people and the community and the environment that we live in. It's a very powerful movement, and one that I'm really excited and happy to be a part of. How has using the B Impact Assessment influenced concrete changes in your operations, such as governance, workers, community, or environmental practices?
Actually, something you just said is pretty similar to the experience that we had. Is when we decided this is something that we wanted to kind of go through the assessment, and we really were happy to discover that we already really aligned with the B Corp standards. So we didn't have to invest in a lot of changes to operations or practices in order to become, certified. So that was something that was really affirming for us. But going through that initial assessment really showed us where we could be doing more, because we can always be doing more. And it helps us, just having the B Lab standards and philosophy, be a decision-making lens for our day-to-day responsibilities and for our day-to-day choices. So from, what we buy, where we buy it from, who we partner with, the wording of our policies, or even which policies we include, that's something that we are looking at on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis. And now we have this roadmap, this decision-making lens for that, and to guide us, which is really useful. Last year we had our very first recycling drive, so our company-wide recycling drive, and we collected so many items just across, clothing and appliances and things that we could take from our associates' homes and make sure that they got to the right place. And it's something that's so small, but so simple for us to do, and so supportive of the impact that we can have. Now our people know where to go with certain items. And so it's something that it actually isn't ingrained in our day-to-day work, but is something easy for us to do, and kind of a way that we can have a ripple outwards. And our renewal is up this year. We're actually going to have to go through the process again. And the standards have been updated. And so we're really just digging into what those new standards are, and how we can just make sure that there are opportunities that we can align with them and improve ourselves even more. Our goal is to always be improving every year, and we're just glad to have that guidance now.
What originally motivated your company to pursue B Corp certification, and how has that decision shaped your mission and culture today?
It's a big one.
It is.
Well, Williams Group has been in business for almost 50 years. We are not the original founders. It's probably somewhat obvious, I hope. But caring has always been a really big part of our formula for success. No matter who the owners were, no matter who the leaders of the organization were, and it's evolved a bit over the years, they've always been very mindful of doing the right thing for the people and the places that our work involves. That has been core to our business from day one. It will be core to our business until the end of time. That is incredibly important to us. And so when Chea and I became owners in 2020, March of 2020, we wanted to sustain all that was good about the historic WG. We wanted to really keep treating our associates well. We wanted to keep giving back to our local community. We wanted to keep just operating with integrity in the choices that we make and being really thoughtful about the impact that we have in our environment. And maybe even most importantly, we wanted to fortify the company for a rapidly changing world. So again, see above, March 2020, that was the start of lockdown. There was a lot of uncertainty in the world. We were racial reckoning, you name it, and things are not slowing down. And so we are just always, as leaders, as partners, very aware of shoring up our organization for anything that may still be to come. And becoming a B Corp, as you said, was a really great framework for that. It enabled us to codify our commitments to the things that we cared about. So almost day one of our shared leadership journey, we were able to say to our staff, who were the same staff who had been working there for decades and who were our former colleagues, for us to step into our roles and say, we intend to keep this a really great place to work. We intend to keep this a place that our community can be proud of, that our clients can be proud of, and that you want to keep choosing day in and day out, year in and year out. And so it was a way of showing our associates and the broader community the kind of leaders that we intended to be and the kind of path that we intended to follow. And then it gave us that clear blueprint for continuous improvement to go forward, like Chea said, because we didn't want to just unfurl a banner and say, we did it, box checked, like the next 50 years are just going to happen. This is something we have to keep working at. This is something we need to keep evolving. We're very aware of that. And this gives us just a great, clear system of supports to keep operating in that direction. And when we first announced our intent to try to be certified, some of our associates were really excited. Some were like, I don't know what that means. I've never heard of it before. But now I'm really pleased to say it's a big part of our shared identity, our culture. And it gives us common vocabulary, common goals, common metrics for the things that we all collectively care about. And it's also just like really fun and a thrill whenever we encounter the B Corp logo in the wild, even if it's on a bottle of wine or something in the grocery store. It's just like such an immediate metric of kinship and alignment. And it's just like, I see you, I know you, I feel you, I support you, and I know that you would support me, even though you're just a product on a shelf. Like, it's just such a signal of what we want to be and the kind of community that we want to be a part of. So it's just been really gratifying and I think surprisingly powerful as well. That shared identity, that shared community that we have found ourselves a part of.
That's it. Yes. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that as well. You took over in 2020. What a time that really was, just to be getting like grounded again into the business, but choosing to lead it into an entirely different direction. In my opinion, adaptability is the strongest card that a business can play because it will keep you relevant for the next few generations to come. And currently, as it sits, we are very focused on ensuring that everybody has equity and accessibility to the life that they all deserve to live. And with that, with how we use our businesses directly impacts the way that we shape that. And just seeing that you've really worked, you're really turned around Williams Group in a way to ensure that it follows those SDGs a little bit more. I don't know, in my opinion, it's just incredible, because I know that it can be really hard and daunting to get started. It's not B Corp or bust. I know that's what we always try to harp on, because really you can get started. You can become Good for Michigan endorsed even with us, and by just only completing 25% of the B impact assessment. But you chose to really go the further extra step to ensure that, no, we're going to complete 100% of it. So that way we can have that groundwork already laid for us. And so that way, when it comes to the future goals that we are looking toward, we have that map of success because we've done it before. It's truly a really great space to build community. Like you said, that really, it's real recognizes real. I see you, and I know that you are doing your best to try to make a positive impact on the environment and communities we are serving. I just really love that Williams Group has really chose to be different in business, because I know that it's not an easy decision to make, because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of data. It's a lot to just sit down and go through each granular step of how your business is impacting the community, the environment, governance. It's a lot, but because you have done it, congratulations. And I just really, really hope that your next certification goes well, and that you can continue to make positive impacts for the next generations to come.